Hey everybody, welcome to my booth. I'm Jay, and vocal health. It's one of those things that everybody has and should be, working on to some extent, but even more so if it's your gosh darn job, if it's your moneymaker and you use it all day, as do we as voiceover artists and audiobook narrators. So here are some tips to help you maintain and sustain your vocal health over the course of a day and a career that have helped me out. Hopefully they'll help you out too. First up is just to stay hydrated. It's kind of the cop-out answer, and it helps everybody with everything. Staying hydrated seems to be one of those life hacks that just fixes the world's problems in some degrees, but it's very true in this, and there are a few specific reasons for it, but to just state the plain, it is not something where you can just chug a gallon of water and expect to be hydrated. That's not how the body works. It is a maintaining process. Just make sure you're drinking water over the course of your day, particularly if you're in a recording session. A little sip here or there on the breaks helps to make sure that your mouth is nice and hydrated, that your saliva doesn't get too thick. It also helps to make sure that your vocal cords stay hydrated, because those rest in a place in your body that they can't really be accessed. Other muscles, well, your vocal cords aren't muscles, but muscles in your body. Your jaw gets sore, you can massage it. Your mouth gets dry, you can swish some water around it. Your vocal cords are entirely isolated, so with the exception of inhaling steam or water vapor, there's nothing you can do to hydrate them with the exception of just drinking water. And that's a really, really important thing to help you maintain good vocal presence, vocal health, and ensure that your vocal cords stay tip-top shape. The next thing that you can do, and almost equally as important, is warm up. Now, as a voiceover artist, audiobook narrator, your voice is your tool. And honestly, you're kind of like a professional athlete. Actors always look super silly and kind of dumb when we're doing our vocal warm-ups. The silly, like, they're all really weird, but there's a reason behind each of them. They're either tuning up your breath, which is the thing that drives all of your communication and the thing that conveys ideas and sound through space to other folks. It's all driven by the breath, very important. So when we're warming up, we're focusing on dialing that in. Same way a professional athlete would, do some dynamic stretching almost. The other is muscular. Your jaw muscles, your neck muscles, your throat muscles, your diaphragm, the muscles and fascia around your rib cage. All of these things contribute either positively or, if you're not taking care of them, potentially negatively, to your ability to convey thoughts through speech, etc. And so it's really important that you're keeping those things tuned in and maybe not tip-top shape. You don't have to be an F1 car at all times, but you want to make sure that you're staying healthy. So doing things like stretches, massaging your jaw, massaging your tongue being probably the most important muscle in terms of speech and articulating ideas. You want to make sure those are loosened up and stay loose over time. And so there's, again, breath, muscular, and then speech. Speech is sort of a combination or coordination of both breath and muscle in terms of forming words and shapes in your mouth to produce sound. So we tune into our breath by doing breathing exercises. We do some muscular warm-ups. Stuff like that, all looks very weird. And then we bring it together doing like tongue twisters. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. The reason that's helpful, I'm focusing on making sure that my tongue is doing what I want it to, that it's agile, that I don't feel sluggish, that I'm articulating words properly. All these things not only help you to maintain your vocal health, but by doing them before you warm up, you're also making sure that whenever you step into your booth, you're going to sound similar. You've warmed up to the degree that you want to perform at your best. You don't want a professional athlete going into a game half warmed up or not warming up at all. They might injure themselves. They're probably not going to perform as much or as well. The first quarter or half is going to be just them getting into the flow of the game. If you do that beforehand, you come into the game tip-top shape, ready to rock. Warming up is helpful in that regard. The next is as you're performing, as you're in the booth, either auditioning or recording jobs or recording an audiobook, whatever it may be, making sure that your breath is supported. The biggest thing that causes a vocal injury in my experience and observation of other people doing stuff is when they focus on making a specific sound, or if they're tense and pushing in some way. You want to make sure that the breath is flowing. This is something that takes a lot of training, or at least it did for me. But one easy way that you can think about it is whenever I have an idea to communicate to someone, say I'm talking to my partner at home and I'm talking about this great experience I had, or I'm retelling a movie, or I'm telling a childhood memory to them or something like that. I'm not worried about how I sound in any given way or how I am putting on a specific voice. I'm just interested in sending this idea to them, and I would argue that in those cases, if you recall them or if you take a moment and check in while you're telling those stories or memories, if you do sort of a checklist of your body, you're probably not feeling tension anywhere. You're not probably feeling very tight in your throat or your mouth unless there's something bad happening. You probably feel a pretty good flow. So in performance, it should be basically the same. And again, that's very hard to do, very much easier said than done. It took me a lot of training to figure that out. But if you feel yourself in performance being tense, getting more tense, pushing air out, running out of breath, all of those things are simply your body telling you, hey, something's out of whack, we're not in sync, and ultimately, we're not focused on communicating this idea to the other person, whoever that may be. And that's the key of voiceover in general. So it's a really nice hack, as it were, where if you feel anything coming out of whack, tension, out of breath, muscle fatigue, my tongue is sluggish or tired, perhaps I could refocus on just telling the story there. Again, that's a lot easier said than done, but that's a good place to start. And then the last thing that I'll tell you that's really, really helpful in terms of maintaining your vocal health is just rest. Making sure that you're sleeping enough, not staying up too late, keeping with a good routine, and above all else, when you don't need to use your voice, if it feels tired, let it rest. Tell your family. It can be hard. It's hard for me to say this. If I say I had a really long day recording and I really need to just rest my voice and not talk for this evening, and everybody else just lets me, and that can help give my voice time to recover. Not always ideal, but it can be really, really helpful, particularly if you're feeling fatigued. That's the best way to get back to 100% quickly. Anyway, I hope this was helpful for you, and if you have any questions or other things that help you maintain your vocal health, let me know down there. And until the next one of these, I'll see you there, and be well. Toodles!